Apes together strong. War for the Planet of the Apes. Directed by Matt Reeves and is the third and final installment of the rebooted Planet of the Apes trilogy. So let's get to it. So War for the Planet of the Apes tells the story set 2 years after the events of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, after Cobra betrayed Caesar and needlessly started a war in which the humans now believe the apes to be dangerous and have called for military to wipe them all out. So Caesar and his tribe of apes are pitted in a war against a group of humans called the Alpha Omega and their colonel. And as the apes suffer heavy casualties in the war, Caesar does offer peace, but after the colonel murders some of Caesar's relatives, Caesar is very understandably pissed and goes on a revenge quest with Maurice and Rocket and a few other apes while they meet a mute girl called Nova and a new ape called Bad Ape, which leads both the humans and apes to an epic final battle that will determine the fate of the planet. To say I was hyped for War for the Planet of the Apes is a understatement. War for the Planet of the Apes, it's that high on my most anticipated movies of 2017. It's second only to, obviously, Star Wars The Last Jedi, as I fucking love this rebooted Planet of the Apes trilogy. I've always been a die-hard Planet of the Apes fan from my childhood, ever since I watched the 1968 Charlton Heston movie on TV and fell in love with it from the start. Though admittedly that original series did have a few unnecessary sequels, and none of those sequels lived up to that original film. Beneath the Planet of the Apes, decent. Escape from Planet of the Apes, actually pretty good, but Conquest, meh. Battle, crap. And let's just forget Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes ever happened, because that movie is such a piece of shit. But thankfully we had the second reboot, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and the first installment of this rebooted trilogy, which turned out to be surprisingly, legitimately awesome. And its sequel, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, was at the time not only easily the best of the 8 Planet of the Apes movies, but hands down my favourite movie of 2014. It was just a masterpiece. You must be on your toes in thinking, what did I think of War for the Planet of the Apes? Does it live up to the hype? Well, there was every chance that this movie could have disappointed, as third installments in their trilogies usually are the weakest. But holy shit, War for the Planet of the Apes is great cinema. I am being serious. If you have not bought your tickets to see this movie right now, please go see it. You will not regret it. I am still in shock by how amazing this movie is. Words can't even really describe what a triumph of cinema this movie is. This is my new favourite of the trilogy. Yes, War is one of those very exceptionally rare installments of a trilogy that takes the cake as the best. Yes, it's better than Rise, and I didn't think they could top Dawn, but they did. I can now gladly confirm this is one of the best cinematic trilogies of all time. A trilogy that has remained consistently perfect, and by people who care and love making movies. This defies all the generic summer blockbusters that we have. This is how summer blockbusters should be. The first thing to note about it is that you should not go in expecting a spectacular, actiony summer blockbuster that we're used to seeing. This is nothing like Transformers. It's one of the best written and smartest and most significant summer blockbusters of all time. Even though the war in the title may be a little misleading, that's not a negative whatsoever, because this movie is really more of Caesar's revenge story and the conclusion of Caesar's journey. And I can't praise the movie enough for that. The fact that it chose to focus more on story and character and less on the action. There are still action scenes, but they keep the focus on what we want Caesar, which all blockbusters should do. Action is great, but if you don't have a great story as well, you're not going to be invested. That's exactly what this movie does. It invests you from start to finish, yeah. And 5 years ago, another, astonishing conclusion to a amazing trilogy came out, The Dark Knight Rises, and this is The Dark Knight Rises of Apes. Yes, it's that good, and the effects and CGI have never looked better. This is the best, most real-looking CGI since Avatar. Not joking. All blockbusters should have CGI like this, where you believe every second that the apes are real. That is not CGI. There's no way that was created on a computer. Weta are truly the masters of visual effects. Yeah, this movie's obviously a visual marvel. It is gonna win best visual effects at the Oscars. I'll be surprised if it doesn't. I'm blown away how the CGI improves with each film. I mean, Dawn had better CGI than Rise. How did they even top the CGI from Dawn? Wow. Do I need to say how brilliant Andy Serkis has always been as Caesar? This is my favourite performance from him so far. Yeah, this is his best performance as Caesar yet. We should protest at the Academy to give Andy Serkis the Oscar he rightfully deserves, because motion capture is acting, no matter what they say. And Caesar in this movie, it's hard not to feel for him and root for him, as he's just such a awesome inspirational protagonist. I mean, he's the character that has grounded this trilogy. We started out his journey brilliantly in Rise. We saw him become the great leader that he was in Dawn, and now he is just older. He is at his most vulnerable. He's at his lowest low. He's struggling to deal with circumstances that weren't even his fault. He didn't start the war. He doesn't want it, but he doesn't have a choice, obviously, but to go to war. Despite him offering peace, the humans will just not leave him alone, and he's had enough of their shit. So he is going on a revenge quest after the Colonel for wiping out his family. You've got to sympathise with him. I mean, I feel his revenge quest was absolutely justified, which I will talk about in my spoiler talk. He is literally the Julius Caesar of Apes, lol, and Maurice the orangutan has been another of my favourite characters in this trilogy. He's been Caesar's friend and stood by his side all the way, and Maurice gets such a emotional storyline here, where he becomes the adoptive father of the mute human girl that they find on their quest called Nova, and she does tie into the original Charlton Heston Apes movie really well. Nova, of the new characters, she is my favourite. The way she can communicate and express her emotions without having to say a word of dialogue is an unbelievable achievement. Yeah, this child actress, Amia Miller, I think her name is, wow, she should be proud, as she is gonna get loads of work after this. She's going places. As for Bad Ape, if you were worried about him, you thought he'd be annoying, don't be, because he's anything but annoying. He's a fascinating character to see, a new kind of ape that was affected by the virus that can also have the ability to speak. He's the only other ape that can talk besides Caesar, and he does provide needed, comic relief in an extremely dark movie. Woody Harrelson's Colonel, amazing antagonist. Cobra was an awesome villain in Dawn, so he had a lot to live up to. And he's an even better villain than Cobra. Wow, I can't believe I'm saying that. He ain't the one-dimensional bad guy that the trailers portrays him. He has layers, even though he's doing barbaric things, and you can see why he is doing them to an extent, as humanity is on the brink of extinction, and he's resorting to desperate measures to keep his race alive. And he reminds me of Quaritch from Avatar. Both are colonels of an army of human antagonists. Both are committing genocide to save the human race, and both give epic speeches. I wouldn't be surprised if he said, "You are not in Kansas anymore, you're on Pandora." Granted, I still prefer Quaritch. Quaritch is my favourite movie villain ever, but Woody Harrelson's Colonel delivered, and he's the most personal villain for Caesar yet, which I will talk about in the spoiler talk. The movie actually has balls. It is, unbelievably dark. Yeah, it ain't a kid's movie. This movie should have at least been rated 15. There are, absolutely violent scenes of torture in this ape camp, which is like the ape Holocaust, if you will, where apes are literally tortured, whipped, and starved. It's pretty heavy stuff. I was absolutely gripped and on the edge of my seats all the way through. The movie never dragged at all throughout its 2-hour, 20-minute runtime, and it just reaches a new heights of emotion and intensity and tension. Wow. I don't know many summer blockbusters that do this good a job of keeping you hooked. I mean, the amount of and the body count's extremely high as well. Like, prepare for some heavy losses of characters you love. You're gonna cry. I'll go as far as saying this is the darkest Planet of the Apes movie. Oh, even darker than Dawn, and Dawn was mature enough. The action sequences, when they happen, are incredible, even though there isn't as much as the title would lead you to believe. That doesn't matter, because the ones we do get are the best battles in this trilogy, as I predicted. The opening battle just draws you in immediately. There are a couple of skirmishes between the humans and the apes on Caesar's Quest, and especially the final climactic battle that the movie builds up to. That is well worth the wait. Trust me, that you will be mind blown by the climax of this film. And the Michael Giacchino's score, it's so riveting and haunting, and just a perfect score to fit the dark, gritty tone of the movie. Yeah, Matt Reeves is now one of cinema's greatest directors. Wow, the Batman movie is in safe hands. He will do a phenomenal, stellar job with that. I have no flaws or even the slightest of nitpicks with this movie. It is a perfect conclusion to this trilogy, and one of my favourite 2017 movies by far. Maybe I still prefer Wonder Woman overall, but War for the Planet of the Apes is certainly a close second. And if this movie is a success, which I'm sure it will be, hopefully this will get the message to Hollywood that we need and want more blockbusters like this. What an absolute masterpiece. And this trilogy is officially on par with The Lord of the Rings, The Dark Knight trilogy, and Toy Story as one of my 5 favourite trilogies of all time. I give War for the Planet of the Apes 5 stars out of 5. This is a must-see. It's stunning. This better be nominated for Best Picture. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what do you think of War for the Planet of the Apes? And what's your favourite Apes movie overall? Please comment, let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. And please follow on Twitter and on Google+. And I'll see you next time when I have reviews of Baby Driver, Cars 3 and the Dark Knight trilogy coming. I'll see you then. Bye, guys.